Good afternoon and welcome to Parents Love Your Children. I'm your host, Toro Sudeth, my co-host, Dr. Charlotta Sudeth, and of course our reader, little Miss Kalia Sudeth. Welcome to the studio.
Hello.
How you doing today?
We're doing fabulous and the weather,
Is awesome. Wow, I didn't know you were going to say that.
Well,
Hey, what's the name of that tree that's in front of the studio?
I have no clue.
Oh,
It is
gee.
so beautiful.
I took the picture of the tree and put it on and just said, Happy Hump Day. Wednesday. That tree was
gorgeous.
awesome.
Blooming.
All right, so what story are you going to share with us today, Miss Kalia?
We shall overcome the story of a song.
Written by Debbie Levi and illustrated by Vanessa Brantley Newton.
All right, take it away, ladies.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
We shall overcome someday.
I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll be all right someday.
Back in slavery times, when enslaved people worked long days with no pay and no say, no freedom, no fairness, no choice, and no chance. The people sang. They suffered, yet they sang. To soothe the hurt, to fight the cruelty, to declare that, yes, they were human beings. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe I'll be all right someday.
I'll overcome someday. I'll overcome someday. If in my heart I do not yield, I'll overcome someday.
It took a war, the Civil War, to end slavery. But even after, white people treated black people as less than fully human, excluding them, ignoring them, blaming them, even attacking them, all because of the color of their skin. Black people were no longer slaves. It was true, but they were not truly free. Still they believed things would get better. Still they sang.
We will overcome. We will overcome. We will overcome someday. It wasn't easy to believe. It wasn't easy when white people shut out African Americans from good jobs and good pay, schools and libraries and neighborhoods, restaurants and hotels and bathrooms, train cars and bus seats, playgrounds and parks. But black Americans and some white Americans did believe they could overcome the unfairness, hate, and violence. They started to protest. They brought a church song, I Will Overcome, to the streets. But since they were marching and working together, they sang, we will overcome. We together will overcome.
Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we will overcome someday.
From the streets, the songs reached the ears of city people, country people, followers, and leaders. It reached Martin Luther King Jr., the most important leader working for justice for African Americans. He took the song with him in his heart everywhere he traveled. The words changed a little, but the spirit stayed the same.
We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. There are many forms of race, hatred, and many ways to fight it. Some students fought by sitting down in restaurants and asking to be served. They didn't ask for free food. They didn't want special service. They just wanted to buy a meal, like any white person could. The students sat and sat, waiting for hamburgers, donuts, and sodas. That never came. The students sat and waited until they were arrested. And as they were taken to jail, they sang, we are not afraid, we are not afraid, we are not afraid today.
More and more people decided to stand up for rights for African Americans. One small group, the Freedom Singers, traveled 50,000 miles in 9 months to living rooms, concert halls, elementary schools, jails, high schools, and rallies, bringing We Shall Overcome to people in 40 states, inspiring them to believe that change was coming. We are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone today.
The biggest gathering of people united in support of fairness and African Americans took place in the nation's capital, marching toward the Lincoln Memorial. Hundreds of thousands of people, black and white, and young and old, join hands, join voices, and saying, "We'll walk hand in hand, we'll walk hand in hand."
We'll walk hand in hand someday.
Slowly, slowly, things were changing. Laws were passed, but race hatred stayed strong, even stronger than laws. So President Lyndon Johnson gave a speech. His ancestors once held slaves in Texas and Georgia, but President Johnson looked out at millions of people watching him on television, spoke of equal rights, human rights, and voting rights for African Americans, and recited the words of the song. We must overcome the crippling legacy of biology and bigotry and injustice, and we shall overcome.
How could such a song stay in one country? It could not. We Shall Overcome sailed across the oceans to other countries where people faced injustices.
It traveled to South America, where black Africans embraced it as their own freedom songs and their own struggle against an all-white government that treated them as outcasts on their own land. Black and white together, black and white together, black and white together someday.
We will live in peace. We will live in peace. We will live in peace someday. The song traveled to India, East Germany, South Korea, Czechoslovakia, Northern Ireland, Bangladesh, China, the Middle East, South America, South Africa, wherever people worked for a better life.
Even as it spread across the globe, the song never really left its American home. It took a very long time, but race hatred did grow weaker. Freedom grew stronger. President Lyndon Johnson was followed by another president and another, and another, and another, and another, and then
The people of the United States, black and white, and young and old, elected an African American man to be their president. One day, people sang the song that so many voices sung before, in pain and in protest. On that day, they sang in happiness. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Today people still struggle against hatred and for freedom, against poverty, and for fairness, against despair, and for hope. We still sing to declare that yes, we all are human beings, deserving of respect, sharing the same planet, the same future together. The end.
All right, I want to thank you for that story of We Shall Overcome, the story of a song written by Debbie Levy and illustrated by Vanessa Bramley Newton. All right, thank you, Kalia and Dr. Shaw, for sharing us that story. And before that we go on to our parent tips, is there anything that you want to tell us about the story?
What are your thoughts about the story, Kalia? What are your true thoughts? Do you have any about it?
No.
I know you went to Washington, D.C. this summer, and what famous memorial did you get to see?
Martin Luther King Memorial.
Yeah, and what was that like?
It was beautiful.
Was it beautiful?
Mhm.
What did you think about when you were there? Did you think of?
I think of like how he saved us from like slavery and hatred.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. So you were actually there. So some of the things that you read about the Lincoln Memorial, did you get a chance to see the Lincoln Memorial as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw all of those things. Well, We Shall Overcome, the story of a song. And you know, I was just thinking it's so prevalent at this time of unrest
Yeah.
in the country. At that time, Kalia, hatred and oppression, they were so visible, so clear, and now those things have kind of, say it loud. Hidden, you're correct. The hatred and oppression is hidden, and so even though we're free, we're still quite what?
And like racism.
Yeah, and not quite free.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite stories to share with you. Another story that you need to purchase now, that we shall overcome. And also, I have to give shout outs to Miss Kalia last night as she participated in the honor roll choir with her school all the way in Old Wine, Iowa. Congratulations with that, Kalia. And that's, maybe I have the wrong title. Maybe you can correct me on that. What choir that you were in?
Honor choir.
Honor choir, okay. And it was you and others from?
Sacred Heart and other schools.
And yeah, okay. And you guys just got together. So did you have a good time with that?
Yeah.
All right. And you participated in that. And congratulations to you. I didn't know it was a big choir like that.
It was.
So these are other schools that are in the Catholic district, correct?
Yeah.
And other small
Districts.
surrounding districts around the community, about 70 fifth and sixth graders. It was nice,
Yeah.
timely and beautiful.
Yeah, I like the key word, timely and beautiful. So right after that, we'll be coming to you with parent tips, and we'll be right back.
Hey kids, let mom help with your science project.
This new mom wants her kids' science project to thrive.
We happy?
Too bad she hasn't cracked the science
And you
book
know what
since
really was so beautiful, so
1985.
flattering.
A
The more I
metathesis
read,
reaction.
Compounds, mixtures, and elements, even this baking soda volcano is too big of an experiment.
Not like your dad, but your mom.
you will get down.
Now she's completely forgotten
my
the
teacher
periodic
wrote on
table.
my
Now she's
map.
burning a hole through the kitchen table. But her kids look for the mom.
I
It's truly
did.
transparent. You don't have to
This
be
is
perfect.
not me. This is not me. Oh, 134. I didn't know.
Don't tell Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
And we're back. Welcome to Parents Love Your Children. I'm your host, Toro Sudeth, and my co-host, Dr. Charlotta Sudeth. As the school year is winding down for you, Dr. Charlotte, when do you stop?
Well, you know, we never stop.
Oh.
But, you know, pre-K will be stopping on the end of May, and as well as K-12 will be stopping. Pre-K, just got word, will be stopping on May 27th, which is Wednesday. We don't have school on Wednesday, so it'll be stopping on the 26th.
Wow.
And
And Kalia just shared with me she has how many more? 18 more days of school left?
18 and 9. Yeah. No. It'll be 17 now.
oh
17.
my goodness.
You look like you're on countdown. She's on countdown, but we're not.
Right.
Of course, we're going to do our parent tips. We're going, and you guys can chime in anytime, Dr. Shar and Kalia. The benefits of reading, the 10 reasons why it is very important for us to read. The benefit of reading start with the first book a baby hears and continue into childhood and throughout the child's life. And I'm going to be sharing with you 10 benefits of reading, the top reasons why reading is important and why children and adults should read often and widely. It doesn't say weekly, it says widely. Why does it say widely?
I think that that would encompass different genres. So, you know, reading not only frequent, but reading a wide variety of materials like fiction, nonfiction. It could be environmental science, it could be newspapers, it could be magazines, but just, you know, whatever you can read, get your hands on it and do it.
Okay. So this is pretty much just common sense. Kids who read often and widely get better at it. And after all, practice makes perfect, and almost everything we humans do, and reading is no different from anything else. So kids who read often and widely get better at it. So as we stated, what is widely? You know, different books, fiction, nonfiction. You know, the one that we looked at was poems.
Yeah, poems, they're often short. There are different versions of poems, you know, and I don't know why the word limerick, but that's a type of poem. But there's also rhyming poems and different things like that that can, you know, just be a different part of reading. And Clea, what were you saying about reading?
In school, we're learning about proverbs.
Yeah.
And one of the proverbs is you're never too old to learn.
Correct.
And so you had said reading does what?
Build up your vocabulary if you've grown or if you're small.
Oh, so it's building up your vocabulary. Okay.
Wonderful.
So reading exercises our brains. Reading is much more complex task for the human brain than it says. It's reading strengthens brain connections and actually builds new connections as well. So you're exercising your brain.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be something you're exercising and you're reading at the same time?
Right. Keeping that brain what they would call lucid.
Running.
Yes.
Yeah, keep it going. So reading improves concentration. Again, that's no brainer. That reading makes us concentrate much better. So that's why they are stressing the point to continue on reading. Children have to sit still and quietly so they can focus on the story when they're reading. If they read regularly, they develop the ability to do this for a longer period.
Yeah.
4, reading teaches children about the world around them. Through reading, children learn about people, places, and events outside their own experience, which Clea shared that she went to Washington, D.C. They are exposed to ways of life, ideas, and beliefs about the world which may be different from those which surround them. This learning is important for its own sake. However, it also builds a store of memory banks,
Yeah.
which helps younger children learn to read confidently and well.
And you know, it provides, reading provides that background knowledge. You know, I was thinking about when that parent tip said about, you know, there was a time when we didn't have as internet or
Technology.
the technology or, you know, television even was different when we were growing up. So reading took you to places that you could not go either physically or virtually. But now, you know, children are going everywhere virtually. You
Yeah.
know, you can get on a smart board, your tablet, your computer, and go check out China.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we were growing up, you know, basically, you might have saw China on the evening news, but if you really wanted to know about China, you remember, Toro, when we
Read
used to
about
have
the encyclopedia,
yeah,
the
you
world
remember- do you remember
encyclopedias.
that?
Yeah.
When we all grew up, the thing to have was what?
Every African American family had the dictionaries and the encyclopedias.
World book. Exactly.
From A to Z,
Oh,
X, Y, Z.
thank you.
So, yeah. And at that time, reading was just exciting because if you saw a story about the stars, which I used to be a star lover, you know, the different signs of the stars. But, I mean, now you can just go to, the Big Dipper and your star sign, Virgo and all that. Now,
Sagittarius,
Yeah.
Orion.
now you can just go right to the machine and look it up yourself.
Yeah, astrology.
Yeah. Reading improves a child's highly developed language skill. Like I said, this is because children learn new words as they read, but also because they unconsciously absorb information as they read about things like how to structure sentences and how to use words and language effectively. So reading builds your
Vocabulary clear.
Vocabulary, yeah.
And your comprehension, and just so many great things.
And reading also develops a child's imagination. This is because when we read, our brains translate the descriptions we read of people, places, and things into pictures. When we are engaged in a story, we are imagining how the characters are feeling. We use our own experience to imagine how we would feel in the same situation. Such as we just got done reading with you, We Shall Overcome. You know, how would we have felt if we were in that time?
That's true.
Whoa.
Oh.
Sad.
What did you say? How would you feel if you were in that time, Clea?
Sad.
Sad.
Yeah. And 7, reading helps kids. This is something I've only recently realized, but it makes sense, as my 15-year-old son said to me when we are discussing it. Of course it does, because you are identifying with the characters in the story, so you're feeling what he or she is feeling.
Especially in chapter books.
chapter books, correct?
especially in chapter books.
Good job. And also parent tip 8 says children who read do better, they can do better themselves in school. And they don't just do better at the subject, like reading, English, and history. They do better at all subjects, and they do better at all the way through school. Because like reading the math problem, you have to learn how to read in order to get the math problem correct.
True, and how to comprehend what you're reading or trying to study. I mean, reading just, I was reminded Miss Porter.
Yeah.
How she
I know you were gonna say that.
Yeah, if you can't read,
Can't work.
yeah, point blank.
Readings and everything.
Yeah, my
Yes.
favorite thing was with her, with McDonald's. She said, how's the kids gonna be able to read that McDonald's? So reading is a great form of also entertainment. A paperback book or an e-reader like the Amazon Kindle doesn't take up much space, so you can take it anywhere and you'll never be lonely or bored if you have a book in your bag. You can read while waiting in queue, while waiting for a friend who is running late or doing a flight delay at the airport,
Yeah.
which we can use our cell phone for that.
Well, and I just thought, you can just read when you're bored.
Yeah, we have a lot of, Oprah Winfrey says books are her personal path to freedom. Learned to read at age 3 and soon discovered there was a whole world to conquer that went beyond our farm in Mississippi.
Right. Yes.
Now, my last tip 10 says, reading relaxes the body and calms the mind. This is an important point because these days we seem to have forgotten how to relax and especially how to be silent. Constant movement, flashing lights, and noise, which has bombarded our senses when we are watching TV, looking at a computer, or playing at an electronic game, are actually quite stressful for our brain. When we read in silent, and the black print on a white page is much less stressful for our eyes and brains. So there you have it, the top 10 benefits of reading. Given to you right there. Top 10 reading is very important. You can look that up at www.bestbooksforkids.com.
Mom likes to read.
Yeah, you like to read, Sean?
Almost.
You got a lot of book clamps that turns on the light and you read.
Yeah, I do enjoy reading as a pastime, for reading for pleasure.
And so in our other parent tip, we're still, sharing with you,
Yes.
Reverend Ron and Justine Simmons with Take Back Your Family. I do believe as I was coming in, there was a show with Dr. Clayton on there. She was talking about how technology has sometimes taken our children away from a lot of things that is happening. And, listening to her and her show today just brought me back to this book again. That I like this part. The older they get, the more involved you get with your child. In our society, there seems to be a perception that a parent's responsibility lessens once the children has reached 18 years old.
Oh.
It's almost if once they see that high school diploma hanging on the wall, mommy and daddy are allowed to take a well-deserved break from parenting.
Huh.
And while there have certainly been times that you wish that was the case, the hard truth is that if you really want to ensure that your kids stay on the right path, then you're going to have to put the vacation on hold for a little bit longer and say it one more time. The older your kids get, the more you have to get involved in their lives.
That is so true. As you read that paragraph, I thought definitely, at our house, and even if I had things to do all over again, just putting your children first, no matter what. I mean, how we went out of here, got these jobs, trying to get education, trying to get so much, when the biggest treasure lied in my home.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes we lose focus on our kids if we get busy with a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, so, I agree with that 100%, and especially if you have children that, maybe they got off on the wrong path.
Yeah.
You need to be right there by them,
And since that you found out that they got off on the wrong path, now you're able to steer them back on the right path. So
Well, yeah.
17 and 18, yeah, but they're there now, they're ready to make,
Better choices.
yeah.
But like, I applaud you because, we just had this conversation last week. you know
Yeah,
what I'm
that just
saying?
caught my attention in
How,
this book.
It seems like they need us more now than they almost did when you were changing diapers.
Yeah, yeah, we had to do that. Yeah, correct, you're right.
Uh-huh.
So I just wanted to share that tip with you that
Yeah.
even though they walked across that stage, they need you even more now.
Yes.
Because they are embarking on bigger decisions and ready to make some more decisions.
And going back to our book that we read too, even teaching our children when they get to that stage of teenage and young adult, how to navigate the system. And I'll just leave that alone.
Yeah, leave that alone. Okay, and we also want to make sure that May 9th,
Oh,
I just want to keep sharing that with you. May 9th is coming around the corner of
Yes.
KBBG's banquet.
yeah.
And, we will be there. We're hoping to see you right there at the banquet of KBBG celebration.
Yay.
Beautiful Black Giant that's been in our community forever.
38th is the
38th.
38th banquet and featuring Dr. Amber Boyd. And just looking forward to that evening and just thanking everybody for in advance for just supporting KBBG. Where would we be without KBBG?
The beautiful Black Giant, KBBG. I love that beautiful Black Giant. In closing, parents, love your children. Remember that reading unlocks the doors to our future, and keep reading stories to them. Read together. We share that as a parent tip. You guys done it.
Yeah.
Clea?
Have a good afternoon.
Yeah. Bye.
What were you doing?
Messing around.
I'm not the big Black Giant. KBBG is the big Black Giant.
KBBG.